Hello there, friends and neighbors. This is me, Stella Hendricks. Thank you so much for coming back to my YouTube channel. Today we have a pretty special issue. We're gonna do June 1980. This is Dorothy Stratten's Playmate of the Year pictorial. I absolutely love it. I hate the fake butterflies floating around, but in 1980 they were super cool. So we can appreciate them. Oh my gosh. Okay, the first thing I want to show you is introduce you to Mario Casilli. He's this guy down here. He seems like a really nice guy and a really fantastic photographer. He is the one who did at least most of Dorothy Stratten's pictorials, from her Playmate of the Month up to this one. I know that from what I hear, the way that she talked about him and the way he talks about her, it seems like they had a really good relationship, really good working relationship, and they seemed like they were pretty good friends too. So I saw this boot advertisement for Nakona boots, and every time I see one, I just have to show them because I had not heard of Nakona boots. Actually, I grew up around horses and doing like the whole Western thing. But I was not familiar with them until I went and worked on a ranch in Wyoming, and there was one of the other cowboys. His name was Nakona. I said, "Oh, that's an interesting name." He said, "Yeah, it was named after the boots." I was like, "There's boots called Nakona?" So I had to look it up and everything, but it cracked me up when about like a year ago, one of my friends, she's got pregnant, she had a little boy, and she named him Stetson. Like the hats, if you don't know, the famous cowboy hats are made by the brand Stetson. So it reminded me of my friend Nakona. Also, ooh, who says the Playboy doesn't have nothing for the ladies? I'm loving the sexy cowboys. Oh yes, count me in. All right, let's see. Oh my God, and then I found another one. Underwear! Oh, good look that he's so modest wearing his t-shirt with his underwear. Good fellow. Don't want to tempt the ladies. Too much. Also, this is just so, I know it's 1980, but like the vibe is still very 70s. I am a big Jeep fan. I've had several different Jeeps throughout my life. I currently have a Jeep. They are the best. They are so much fun, and I love to go off-roading. Some people call it four-wheeling. Some people call it going mudding. That's popular down here. In Nevada, in Idaho, in Wyoming, I definitely love to go off-roading is what we called it. Sometimes I would take like my parents' Suburban. You can fit all kinds of people into a Suburban. They're actually great cars. Okay, this, oh my gosh. This is the most fantastic disco advertisement I've ever seen in my life, and I love it especially because we have a Harrah's in Reno, where I come from, and from Lake Tahoe, where I also come from. Although I think up there it has a different name. It's Harvey's, but it's the same company as Harrah's. But one reason I loved this so much is because another thing I'm reviewing on my channel is my friend Elaine wrote this book called Rhinestone Confidential about when she worked backstage as a seamstress for a bunch of these shows in Reno, and it was at the Harrah's. Yay! So I highly recommend reading that book. It's really interesting. It's very cool. We're gonna do a bunch of videos on it, but that was just so fortuitous that I came across that when I wanted to review this particular magazine. Oh my gosh. This is the best advertisement of all advertisements I've ever seen in my existence. Look at this. What is even happening here? Oh my God. Let's see what it's selling. What are we selling? Joel Calmade introduces bold new styles in sports shirts for men. Let Joel put some adventure in your life. Available in fine men's stores everywhere. That looks like a cross between like Star Trek and King Kong and like Land of the Lost or something. Do y'all remember Land of the Lost? Good times. All right, let's see. We got to get to the good stuff. Where's the Playmates? I think the next thing I picked up was one of the Playmates. Gee, I skipped over a good bit in here. I must have been excited to get to the Playmates. I sure was. Okay. Sugar Ray. Miss June has a sweet tooth. Not to mention the rest of her. Ola Ray became our Miss June by way of Japan. It's not the usual route to the centerfold, but not much Ola does is usual. She left the United States when she was 13, taking up residence on an army base outside Tokyo. Her adolescence was not the normal blend of a high school and happy days, a la Donnie and Marie. Osmond? They're Mormons, did you know? I formed a dancing and singing group with my twin brothers. We would hop the train and head down to the clubs in the Ginza. We called ourselves the Soul Train Puppets. We'd sing and dance to songs by LTD, Earth, Wind and Fire, and the Dramatics. The group was successful, playing towns from Nagasaki to Sapporo, and Ola learned to handle herself in strange situations. A lot of the guys in clubs belonged to the Japanese mafia. The Yakuza. You could tell by their tattoos. If one of their fingers was missing, it meant that they'd messed up. Ola took it in stride. Most Japanese are quite nice. They are warm, close people. If we were lost, they would get in a cab and take us where we wanted to go. And the discos were terrific. In the US, men ask women to dance. In Japan, everyone gets up to dance. If someone has a new step, everyone stops and watches. The next thing you know, everyone is doing it. It's a permanent party. Beautiful. When Ola returned to the U.S., she continued to dance and make plans for her career. A Playmate test in Los Angeles was one step, acting, voice, and dance lessons another. I want to get back on stage. I like to wear wild clothes, hear people clapping. I love that vibe. Our guess is that you'll be seeing a lot more of and hearing more from Miss Ola. I'd like to be a rock singer with my family as the band. My mother used to have my brothers and sisters come out and entertain company. I'd like to get my situation together and bring them along. You ready? Come on. Woo! Beautiful. Oh, she's got nice cursive handwriting. Let's see if I can read it. Okay. Goals: to be an actress, singer, dancer, and to continue to be a model. Turn-ons: music, men, dancing, and romancing, health and nature. Turn-offs: waiting for something that never comes. Favorite entertainers: Michael Jackson, Donna Summers. I don't know those other names, I'm sorry. Favorite movie: All That Jazz. Favorite sports: swimming, skating, tennis, and love to watch basketball and football. Favorite place: the beach and the Far East. Secret dream: to be an entertainer and to one day help other young talents into the industry. That's lovely. Sorry, I had to decipher that a little bit. Got beautiful penmanship. I'm just a little bit out of habit of reading it, you know? Bring back cursive. I'm going out the hatch to take a shot at it. They're delicious with garlic butter. Okay, this whole pictorial was just so hilarious to me that I have to show you the whole thing. Go like the wind. It's pretty much a big advertisement for men's surfing wear. But the photography of it is such an adventure. I had to take you along. Can't you just feel the salt in your face? The wind and the waves splashing. Yay! Okay, so that was that. There we go. Now we're coming to La Creme de la Creme. Playmate of the Year! Miss Dorothy Stratten. I love that picture especially because you know me, I'm the cowgirl. We really know how to pick 'em. Blonde bombshell Dorothy Stratten compiling a sheaf of film and TV credits. It's shaping up as one of the decade's brightest new stars. Playmate of the Year? Are you sure? Dorothy Stratten asked in disbelief when we told her the good news that out of the 12 terrific gatefold girls, she had been chosen by Playboy editors to be the 80s first Playmate of the Year. Even after we reassured her that it was, indeed, true, the reality of it did not quite sink in. But then, ever since she graced our gatefold last August, Dorothy has been living in what can be best described as a Hollywood fairy tale, so she's no stranger to feelings of disbelief. Her career as an actress, a career that began only one short year ago, has proceeded with the velocity of a whirlwind and put the name Dorothy Stratten in a solid position as one of the few emerging film goddesses of the new decade. In Hollywood, where countless thousands of aspiring actresses compete for even the smallest of roles, Dorothy has, in a short time, amassed a list of credits that sounds as if she's been hoofing the pavement for the last 10 years. A few excerpts from the scenario. Fade into Vancouver. And then it continues on page 227. We're going to get there. But first I'm going to read the captions over the pictures and look at the rest of the pictures. The first thing I plan to do with my Playmate of the Year money is to buy some property, says Dorothy. A place roomy enough for a lot of pets. Knowing of Dorothy's love of animals, Playboy included among her gifts a Shih Tzu puppy, pictured with Dorothy below, which she named Marston, which also happens to be Hugh Hefner's middle name. Okay, 227. Oh wait, no, I wasn't going to do that yet. I was going to look at the rest of the pictures. I'm getting all kerfuffled, friends and neighbors. Here we go. To make it in Hollywood, you really have to want it and be very, very dedicated. No one's going to come up to you and say, I'm going to make you a star. Well, that kind of did happen to her, but she did also work very hard for it. $1980. When did Saturday Night Fever come out? The whole ballet aesthetic is very, remember the the goody girl in that show. She was like always doing ballet and stuff, right? I don't know. I have to look up those dates. How interesting. Hollywood hasn't changed my values or my personality, but it has certainly made me wiser. I've gained 5 years of experience in the last 18 months. That is a famous quote. Also, I think I might be missing a page out of this magazine because that's a very strange picture. So I have a feeling that something got ripped out of this episode, this issue. That's okay. Success means different things to different people, so it's very hard to define. To me, happiness and peace of mind are two of the most important ingredients. I love this picture. I think this is one of my favorite pictures of her. She looks so confident and natural. Love that one. Okay, now we're going to read the rest of it on page 227. Are we? Yes, we are. Okay. In British Columbia, intrepid Playboy photographers searching for a 25th anniversary Playmate discover Dorothy Stratten and invite her to fly to Los Angeles for test shots. Believe it or not, she told us, I'd never been on a plane before. In LA, she quickly became a top finalist in the anniversary Playmate competition and lands a job as bunny at the Century City Playboy Club, quickly followed by a part in the film Americathon, in which she plays a bunny. Candy Loving, who in the intervening weeks has become a close friend of Dorothy's, is chosen as the 25th anniversary Playmate. Dorothy gets a nod as Miss August. By now, she has already secured a part in the film Skatetown, USA, a small speaking role in which she tries to order pizza, but in her own words, the pizza maker keeps hitting on me. It's a continuous scene that runs throughout the film. A small role, perhaps, but big enough for Dorothy to catch the eye of several producers, one of whom signs her to star in the Canadian film Autumn Born, to be released shortly north of the border. Hollywood takes notice, and soon Dorothy is hired to appear in an episode of Fantasy Island. Following that, she is a guest star in a segment of the TV series Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, playing the part of Miss Cosmos, winner of a contest to discover the most beautiful woman in the universe. Her name appears for the first time in TV Guide. Seeing my name in TV Guide, says Dorothy, was the most exciting thing in my life. It suddenly made all of this seem real. When I watch myself on the screen or on TV, it's always so hard for me to believe that's really me. Cut to January 1980. Dorothy is signed for the title role of her first American feature, Galaxina, a space comedy starring Steven and a bunch of other people. She plays a robot named Galaxina, described as the most perfect robot ever constructed. Hollywood Reporter columnist Hank Grant mentions Dorothy when she has her license plate changed to read Galaxina. As many observers have noticed, Dorothy dazzles people on or off the screen. Just to give you an example of what we mean, early last winter, Richard Dawson appeared on The Tonight Show shortly after having hosted the ABC TV special, The Playboy Roller Disco and Pajama Party, which is one of my favorite things in the world, which featured a large crop of playmates, including Dorothy. In the course of The Tonight Show, Dawson was asked what he wanted most for Christmas. He didn't hesitate for a moment. Dorothy! I love the roller disco and pajama party. I think it's so much fun. I think I have clips of it somewhere on my channel. And Autumn Born too, which is not a great movie, but it has Dorothy Stratten in it, and that makes it really special to me. So. Oh yeah, I love these Leroy Neiman sketches. Get my fingers out of the way, there we go. Even when they're something terrible like cockfighting, I think they're magnificent. Look how beautiful that old boy is. Critics' Choice, the 25 greatest restaurants in America. So I'm not going to read this. I just love when they have these types of articles in here showing all the, like, what the favorite cuisine of the day was. Although it does have the list, so I'll give it to you right here if you are interested in screenshotting it or something. And we should do an experiment and try and go to those and see how they hold up today. 1980 was a long time ago, wasn't it? Okay. Oh. Tell me, young man, how can you support my daughter on what a zombie makes? Okay, so the super hilarious thing to me here is that, look at this guy zombie. He looks kind of like Lurch or Gomez, right? But he doesn't look like what we would call a zombie today, which is like bedraggled and like flesh falling off like a leper or something, right? So even in 1980, they still had this kind of like white zombie, really old, like hypnotized type of zombie idea, and not like the risen from the dead, virus infected kind of zombie. So I just thought that was interesting. I wonder when, because I know that Night of the Living Dead had to come out by now, but I guess they weren't like super mainstream or something. 1980, usually I'd think when you see a zombie like this, he'd be a kind of zombie, right? I don't know. I just thought that was kind of interesting. He looks more like a Frankenstein? I don't know. Was Frankenstein a zombie? He was a dead man, the conglomeration of many dead men risen from the grave. So if Jesus was a zombie, I guess that makes Frankenstein a zombie. Which, by the way, don't even try it and start telling me that the monster in Frankenstein, his name was not Frankenstein. Yes, it was. And I'll tell you why. Because he was created by Dr. Frankenstein, right? And Dr. Frankenstein never gave him a name. He kind of like abandoned him really quick. So he didn't have a name, but his father's name was Victor Frankenstein. So he at least had that family surname. His creator, his father, was Frankenstein. So yeah, he is the monster of Frankenstein, and we talk about Dr. Frankenstein, but I think it follows perfectly logically that the name of the monster is Frankenstein. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. You were right, Doctor. I hardly felt a thing. Doctor! You need to get on your game there, Doctor. Dear me. Okay. So I think it's so dumb that they say, oh, the Playmate of the Year gets like $20,000 or so much, I forget, a bunch of money for as a prize for winning Playmate of the Year. But like half of it is in prizes. And prizes are okay, but also giving people $20,000 in money or $20,000 in prizes, I'll tell you which one I would take. However, since we're talking about Miss Dorothy, let's talk about the cool things she got. So I actually bought some perfume like this because I wanted one just like Dorothy. And I had a little miniature thing of it. And I was gonna grab it up so I could show it to you in this video, but guess what? I looked all around and I can't find it. I have completely lost it, friends and neighbors. Of course I have. Ugh. This is the end of my life. Alas, okay. If, as they say, it is more blessed to give than receive, Dorothy Stratten's benefactors may soon be canonized. Dorothy had a vague inkling of what she was going to receive as Playmate of the Year, but the full impact of her treasure trove of goodies didn't really dawn on her until one day in February when she arrived at our West Coast. Text concluded. Oh. Okay, let's just read it. Studio to be photographed with all of her gifts. We had gathered them into one large room, and when Dorothy walked in, she was awestruck. When I saw all those beautiful gifts all at once, she says, I just started crying. It was incredible. In fact, it was like the proverbial child let loose in the candy store. Dorothy tried on the fur, the dresses, the lingerie, the jewelry. fiddled with the gadgets, the video equipment, the cameras and computers, inspected the brass bed, the brass and rosewood bathtub, and there were some interesting coincidences. I was all set to buy a video recorder, she said, so I'd be able to tape all the TV shows I'm going to be in and then play them back. Also, I had just told a friend that I wanted a backgammon table. I'm pretty addicted to the game. And of course, the fur will come in handy when she makes her rounds as Playmate of the Year, especially, she says, when I tour Canada. A few of the gifts were not in the room. Foremost was a $25,000 check from Playboy, up from the previous Playmate of the Year bonus of $10,000. Another was a trip to La Costa, the famous health spa resort south of Los Angeles. Dorothy and Playboy West photo editor Marilyn spent 6 days there in early February. We went down there to diet and exercise, said Dorothy. It was fantastic. We each lost 5 pounds in only 6 days. Soon, Dorothy will be taking another trip, this time to Mexico as the guest of La Hadas, the premier resort hotel on the west coast of Mexico in Manzanillo, where she will fly courtesy of Aeromexico Airlines. As soon as I get some free time between films, I'm going right down to Las Hadas, she said. I'm really going to unwind for a week. Following a whirlwind promotional tour across the country, Dorothy will preside as co-hostess at the grand opening of the new Playboy Hotel and proposed casino in Atlantic City, scheduled to open late this year. Some of Dorothy's gifts have stimulated new interests. I'm especially excited about the Nikon equipment, she said. I always wanted to get into photography, and now that I've got the right camera, I may take some lessons. We may also soon be seeing Dorothy on the slopes. I've never skied before in my life, she said, but with all this great AMF head ski equipment, racing skis, boots, ski wear, I have to take it up. As for the shiny new brass bed and the sexy lingerie, well, some things are none of our business. Oh, okay, but now we're gonna finish looking at all the pictures. Oh, there we go. Excellent. Wait a minute. I thought there was something else I was going to read, and oh well. That's okay. I guess it wasn't meant to be. Speaking of things that are meant to be, look, Charlie, the world changes. I think he's got a gay couple on the wedding cake there, and I love that in 1980 that was like a joke or something, but no, nowadays, it's extremely common, and nobody bats an eye at it, unless they're like super religious and all hung up on like stupid stuff like that. Ugh. Which is really just sad for them. But the world we live in today is so much more beautiful than the world of yesterday, and sometimes it can be painful to look back at the past and see stuff like that, but you can also find a lot of joy in it and be so happy that we're doing better today than we were yesterday. I find a lot of hope in that. I think that's wonderful. So, Blue Coral introduces Blue Poly, the one-step poly sealant with a 2-year guarantee. It's like some car thing. But I loved the blue poly, and look who it is. I don't know if it actually is Macbeth, the hyacinth macaw, but it looks just like him, and it's in Playboy, so we're gonna say it is. Marvelous. Relax, ladies. As long as she isn't passing contraband, there's no rules being broken. Woo, woo! Oh, I would make a lot of money if I went to visit the prison. Also, this is so funny. Another appearance of zombies. He made me a zombie. Again, a different kind of zombie, obviously, but that's just funny. It showed up twice in here. Yeah, it's not even October, it's June. Oh my gosh, I love these mosquito nets. I think they look so exciting and beautiful. I don't know what it is about them. They're just fantastic. I need to get a mosquito net over this bed, don't I? This is the spare room, which is also kind of like my closet. And I just put all my fun stuff in here, and that's why it looks like a jungle in here. Because my husband likes the house to look a little more civilized, and I do too. Well, sometimes. But I can do whatever I want in here. And so that's why it kind of looks a little bit like, I've never done LSD, but from what people talk about, I imagine this is what the world looks like when you're doing LSD. In the best way possible. Oh, I can't forget this. Okay. Silly me. When Orville said you were depressed because you couldn't get it up, I naturally assumed. Look, it's an airplane. He's one of the Wright brothers. Get it up. What humorosity. Okay, this is funny. Okay, gang, that'll be all for today. Y'all can come back tomorrow and we'll do it again. The real question is, for you and me, Ron, whether the same hairstylist can truly be right for both of us. I think, in this case, you're gonna be safe. Yay! Okay, I just love these Playboy Club advertisements. The idea that I could take this out of here and fill it in and mail it in. Of course, we couldn't nowadays because they're from a long time ago, but there's just something so nice and tactile about having those in there. I love them. Oh, yeah, okay, so to close out this issue, it's Miss Marilyn Monroe. I don't know, should we, this kind of an omen. Is that where the word ominous comes from? An omen? I don't know. Marilyn Mystery Unraveled. In the January 1980 Roving Eye, we published some shots of Marilyn that had been discovered by an acting troupe in an abandoned New York brownstone. Who had taken the pictures and why? Artist John Whitcomb explained their origin. Dear Playboy, Mystery Division, for the American Weekly issue of April 6, 1958, Hearst needed an Easter hat feature and asked me to paint 6 ladies for it. As usual, overnight. A photographer named Carl Perelutz, or some such nom de Nikon, handled Marilyn. He was never heard from again. If he was so demolished on East 18th Street amidst actors, I'm sorry to hear it. I'm not sure what he means by all that, but okay. During the shooting of Billy Wilder's Some Like It Hot, everybody on the set either felt protective of Marilyn or hated her guts. Well, Marilyn kept me waiting for 2 weeks, so I sided with the antis. The cover and the piece on Some Like It Hot are from the March 1959 issue of Cosmopolitan. The third dates from the shooting of The Misfits and appeared in the December 1960 Cosmopolitan. Although this version of Marilyn was remote control, I painted her directly on 3 other occasions, mostly for Cosmopolitan. Her notions of magazine posing were quaint. What does that mean? So, starting with Dorothy and closing it out with Miss Marilyn Monroe, I think that is a pretty good episode or issue or whatever. Why can I never remember? You know what? We're just calling them episodes from now on. So thanks for coming to this episode with me for our Playboy review. And don't do anything I wouldn't do. And I'll catch you on the flip side.